walks the line with a cold desire. Punisher's shadow, the hammer falls hard. No mercy for evil, they're playing their card. Through the alleys of pain and the rivers of blood, they hunt down the guilty, they're the judge and the flood. But every war needs a mind that can see, a voice in the chaos that cuts to the core. Tiff and the Punisher carving the night, punishing sinners beneath the pale light. Becca steps in with that smart-ass grin, brainiac queen, always right from within. She's figuring out the world one fact at a time, calling out the lies with a razor-sharp mind. You think you're clever? Watch me prove you wrong. Becca's in the mix, and the truth marches on. Becca's the spark in the tactical storm, smart-ass remarks that keep the whole team reformed. Equations and evidence, she's cracking the code, while the Punisher's bullets write the final ode. Tiff holds a line with the fearless command. Together they're unstoppable, a punishing band. Becca won't rest till the puzzle is solved. She's right every time and the problem's resolved. When the world's gone mad and the answers won't bend, she'll dissect the chaos and break it again. Smart-ass brainiac, queer the fight. Tiff and the Punisher on the night. Tiff and the Punisher carving the night, punishing sinners beneath the pale light. Becca steps in with that smart-ass grin, brainiac queen, always right from within. She's figuring out the world one fact at a time, calling out the lies with a razor-sharp mind. You think you're clever? Watch me prove you wrong. Becca's in the mix, and the truth marches on. Tiff and the Punisher. Becca's got the answers. Justice never sleeps.
All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're looking at a grassroots movement that's fueled by some serious passion. We're talking about the fight for parental rights. It's a battle that parents and advocates see as them against a giant corrupt system. But you know, what's really fascinating here is the biggest fight, well, it might just be with elves. Wow. I mean, just listen to that line. It's pulled right from the source material. And it's not just a phrase, it's pretty much the battle cry for this whole movement. It really frames their fight not as some simple policy disagreement, but as a full-on war against a force they see as fundamentally evil. So to really get what's going on, you have to understand who they see as the enemy. And look, this isn't about pointing fingers at one or two social workers. For them, it's about an entire system they believe is completely broken, a system driven by something other than what's best for kids. To really get their perspective, you just have to follow the money. And this number, $10.4 billion, the federal budget for a program called Title 4E back in 2020. It funds things like foster care and adoption. But for the folks in this movement, that's not just a budget line. No, they see it as the motive for a system that actually profits from taking families apart. And this quote right here, it shows you exactly how they connect those dots. That multi-billion-dollar figure is, in their eyes, all the proof they need of a profit motive. The way they see it, children are basically turned into commodities, and the system is incentive to separate families, not heal them. The movement also talks about the specific tactics they believe the system uses. They're talking about court orders that are issued without even hearing from both sides, which they say is totally unconstitutional. They describe people lying under oath in court and agents just showing up at their homes without warrants. It really paints a picture of a system that's just playing by its own rules. So you can imagine fighting an enemy that you see as this powerful, well, it takes a massive toll. For these advocates, this isn't just some political hobby. It's a deeply personal war that completely takes over their lives. And the weight of that it's almost impossible to imagine. This question, pulled from a conversation between two advocates, just cuts right to the heart of it all. In the source material, the answer was an immediate absolutely every day. Think about that. Every piece of advice they give, every action they take, it carries the incredible weight of a family's entire future. It's just this constant, high-stakes pressure. And this is the brutal math of their daily life. One advocate talks about how for every 52 phone calls they get, maybe one has some good news. The other 51 are the same gut-wrenching story, again and again. Can you imagine the emotional grind of that ratio, day in and day out? It's just a constant barrage of trauma. And this quote, it really captures the soul-crushing impact of losing a child to the system. They describe it as a kind of death of the spirit. It's not just about being sad. It's about being completely hollowed out. And understanding this emotional state is so important for understanding the paradox that's coming up next. Okay, so you've got this clear enemy. You have this shared, deep trauma. You think their unity would be unbreakable, right? That's a big paradox here. The biggest threat to this movement might actually be coming from the inside. In fact, that constant state of trauma we just talked about, that might be the very thing that's fueling all the conflict. This is a million-dollar question, and it's being asked by an advocate within the movement who just can't understand the infighting. I mean, they all want the exact same thing: protect families, bring the kids home. So why on earth is there so much arguing? And what's really interesting is that the movement seems to know it has a problem. The advocates themselves look at other groups, from Black Lives Matter to, get this, rival street gangs, and they see a kind of public unity that they just don't have. They describe their own culture my way or way. And this isn't some new issue. This quote, referencing a well-known figure from the movement's past, really gets at this deep feeling of being stuck. There's a sense that after all these years of fighting, the internal bickering is them from making any real collective progress. So what do you do? How do you fix a problem like that? Well, the advocates in our source material aren't just giving up. They're actively calling for a massive shift in their culture and strategy. They're actually mapping out a path to finally build that united front. And here are the core principles they're laying out for themselves. It's a call to put the big goal ahead of individual egos. It's about empowering each other with knowledge instead of hoarding it. It's about refusing to give the system any excuse to write them off. And maybe most important of all, it's about protecting the one thing that keeps them going. This quote really gets to the core of it. For this movement, hope is the most precious and fragile resource they have. So giving families false hope or leading them down a dead-end path, that's not just a bad strategy. To them, it's a moral failure. It's a cruel thing to do, already lost so much. This is this final question. When they're literally the highest they can be, we're talking about our children. The very fabric of family. What is the key that finally unlocks unity? It is the essential challenge for a movement full of people who have been put down, but absolutely refuse to be broken.
Welcome back, Tiff and The Punisher. Today we've got an episode you absolutely cannot afford to miss. We're diving deep into one of the most critical movements happening right now, a fight that impacts families across the nation. We're talking about the Abolish CPS movement. And to help us navigate this complex and crucial topic, we have a very special guest joining us. He's a renowned investigative journalist and Substack author, Michael Volpe. Michael has been on the front lines, uncovering truths and giving a voice to countless families affected by the system. He's here to give us the unvarnished truth, the current status of this vital movement. We'll be discussing who the key players are, the organizations making a difference, and the strategies being employed to bring about real change. What's working? What are the biggest challenges? And most importantly, what can you do to get involved involved and protect your family. Michael will break down the who's who and the what's what of the abolish CPS movement, offering insights you won't hear anywhere else. This isn't just an interview, it's an essential update for anyone concerned about parental rights and the future of our children. So buckle up, lean in, and get ready for a powerful conversation that promises to be both informative and inspiring. Stay tuned because Tiff and the Punisher with special guest Michael Volpis starts right now. Tiff Punisher podcast, Thursday, 7:45 p.m. Eastern, exposing CPS and educating children to say no to CPS. Join the chat and the viewers pit and interact with us during the show. Maybe jump in the box and tell your story. Hear Becca talk about stipulating on Tuesday, Dana screaming, "America, where are you?" This is not just a podcast. It's an educator. And more so, we are a family. Join this family because we know CPS has taken that away. So we're right here. Make yourself at home and we will all fight CPS together. Don't let them take away your hope, livelihood, or your life. Let's all fight this together.
هلا عبود هلا عبود هلا يا ساتر يا ساتر.
Punisher podcast, fighting CPS with their bare mouths, have added a Tuesday night edition, The Stipulation Nation. The CPS tyrant take down the nerd from nowhere, the attitude with the truth to back it up, Becca Garrison. This should make for an amazing lineup of attitude, pizzazz, fun, and downright CPS stomp down. They can't run forever, and when they stop, this posse will be right on their heels. No more kids for cash, and we are kicking some ass. Join us Tuesdays to stipulate with Becca.
I this something to be. I have tonight for the #1 CPS podcast, Tiff and The Punisher, where reality is the stage and truth is what is given. They may be hard on some things and laugh at others, but they will never lead you astray. And when you join this community, you aren't just listening to a production. You're joining a family. Tiff and The Punisher, Monday through Thursday, 7:30-ish. We'll be there for you. Are you ready to be there for you? www.u.com/@abolishcps.com.
The CPSpunisher.com is the app they never wanted you to find. If CPS is knocking at your door, intimidating you as a parent with police standing there waiting for you to talk back so they can arrest you and steal your kids, stand strong, tell them you want to see their warrant, they will leave. Lessons like these can save your family. Exactly what the CPS Punisher assists you with. If your lawyer isn't fighting for your child, now you can research anything and everything. so you can be educated on the most up-to-date case law and court procedures. The CPS Punisher has more tools than Home Depot when it comes to recording data from your CPS case. Whether you need a timeline, log your visits, ask a question pertaining to the ADA, the Punisher has it. Never again will CPS have the upper hand when you have the CPS Punisher. Visit the cpspunisher.com.
If you've been fucked by the CPS, hands up if you've had your kids kidnapped by the CPS. Who's gonna save us from the corrupt ass CPS? Who's gonna take out the corrupt ass CPS? Injustice! We injustice! Looking for the Punisher to lead us into battle. A revolution's brewing. He's gonna come through with a system like this. Who needs the government?
In the spirit of investigative journalism, this newsletter uncovers the ongoing controversies surrounding Child Protective Services, CPS, across the United States. From wrongful child removals to systemic failures in foster care, we bring you the latest developments, substantiated by recent reports and lawsuits. For more resources, visit cpsbreakingnews.com and subscribe to www.youtube.com/atabolishcps for in-depth discussions and advocacy. In New York, a class action lawsuit accuses the Administration for Children's Services, ACS, of violating parents' Fourth Amendment rights during home investigations. Parents report being coerced into allowing searches without warrants under threats of child removal. This rare constitutional challenge aims to defend families from unwarranted intrusions, revealing how CPS tactics can traumatize innocent households. Spike in child fatalities sparks debate on removal policies. In Washington state, a surge in fatal and near-fatal incidents involving children in 2025 has reignited discussions on CPS removal practices. Critics argue that hasty removals without sufficient evidence contribute to family destabilization, while defenders point to the challenges of balancing safety with family unity. This controversy reflects broader national debates on whether CPS policies exacerbate rather than prevent harm.
Human trafficking risks among child welfare-involved youth. A 2024 study reveals verified human trafficking allegations among children in the child welfare system, particularly those with repeat involvements. While not directly implicating CPS in trafficking, the research shows how system instability increases vulnerability to exploitation, including sex and labor trafficking. Federal reports from 2024 emphasize the need for better protections, with FBI operations arresting hundreds in child sex abuse crackdowns. In the complex world of child welfare, a common legal question arises: what rights do parents have when CPS initiates an investigation investigation, and what remedies exist if a child is wrongfully removed. The core issue stems from the Fourth Amendment, with flexible searches and seizures. CPS workers often enter homes without warrants, citing exigent circumstances. Recent lawsuits clarify that parents can refuse entry absent a order or immediate danger. For instance, in cases like those in New York City, families have successfully challenged coercive tactics, leading demands of clear protocols on consent. If a child is removed unjustly, solutions include filing a civil rights lawsuit under Section 1983 in full court. Parents must prove violation, like lack of due process or qualified immunity breaches. Successful cases, such as foster care abuse settlements, demonstrate potential for compensation, with parents sometimes exceeding limits for egregious harm. Steps to pursue: document everything, gather evidence of the investigation, including reports, recommendations, consult an attorney. Civil rights lawyers specialize in these cases. Initial consultations are often free. File a complaint. Sue the court, seeking damages for emotional distress and punitive awards if malice is shown. Appeal removals. Use state family courts to contest decisions, potentially leading to reunification. While CPS aims to protect children, overreach can devastate families. Reforms, like mandatory Miranda-like warnings for parents, are proposed to ensure transparency. For advocacy, turn to resources like CPSBreakingNews.com.
A wave of outrage sweeping the nation, parents, advocates, and survivors gathered in cities across the U.S. from September 7th to 9th, 2025, to protest what they call systemic corruption in Child Protective Services, CPS, and family courts. Demonstrators in Orange County, CA, and beyond chanted slogans demanding accountability, third-party oversight, and an end to practices they allege facilitate child trafficking and unjust family separations. One protester in Sacramento shared a harrowing story of CPS removing children without due process, echoing broad claims that the system prioritizes financial incentives over family unity. These protests, organized by groups like Family Court Fraud Warrior, highlight ongoing allegations that CPS agencies receive federal bonuses for adoptions under the 1997 Adoption and Safe Families Act, potentially incentivizing removals.
Hello, I want to thank you for breaking the mold and coming to our site. This is where we start the process of taking back our children. They are our children, given to us by a choice made between two people in love and proof of a miracle. A child made from two people, a woman selfishly giving her body up for 9 months to grow and nurture human life and then to bear excruciating pains to bring that baby to our world. A father, the protector, is a strong individual whose job is to at all costs protect the children from evil and harm. The rules and purpose were established in the Bible. It was a miracle, and we are just letting these demons come to our sanctuaries, criticize our lives, insult our roles as parents, and take our kids, never faltering. Yes, we kick and yell, but at the end, the kids are still gone and life of emptiness begins. That sounds so un-American, but more so ungodly. He is pissed those kids are for our entrance to heaven, and we are giving them away. Not anymore. It's time to square the devil in the face and take back what rightfully belongs to us, something that only our Maker can do, and won't if you show your faith. CPS is stealing children around the world for profits, and your government is with them. The system is rigged. You can be perfect in every way. We all were in our children's eyes. It won't matter. These are economically inside kidnappings. You need to understand that. True, there are times when intervention is necessary, but that is not who they target. So stop putting yourself down or someone you know who lost a child to CPS. Stand up or stand them up and fight. Fight like a bear would if the cub is trying to be harmed. Learn from the simplicity of animals, which we are far more advanced and way more backward. The children are the future, not a number on a budget report, not an estimated worth. They are our flesh and blood and made from a miracle. Now that you know what's going on, stand with us and fight. Don't let children be used as slaves to the system that we are supposed to control. Shame on us. Time to make it right in your home in God's eyes.
reason of your mind and your soul. You're falling down a black hole.
When the day begins, your thoughts are of the best intentions. How can you make this day the best it can be? You wonder, what will this day bring? Your family awaits you in the distance, coaxing you to run to them and join them in some early morning shenanigans. This is what families do. Off to the fields to dream of being an airplane pilot or an astronaut. Whatever you want to be, it's your imagination, and it can take you anywhere. Run to the lake to join everyone in a game of tag or hide and seek. Celebrate your victories, dancing around foolishly in celebration antics. Chase down your family at the beach, fling kites, feeling the ocean's breeze hit your face. Being a child is an amazing experience.
There are many children who have had this experience taken away from them by CPS. They will never feel the attachment to family the way they should. They are being robbed of life's precious experiences. And people are
so many are anticipating the new day with their family. There are some others laying there wishing that they could be their families. This quarter needs to be stopped. These children wake up alone and fight the world by themselves instead of surrounded by the family God gave them. We must abolish CPS and stop neglecting children who once enjoyed living with family of their own. Studies show we're destroying these children, not helping.
The children in our country are being made to be the victim of a situation they are not involved, and then sent to a foster home where they again are reintroduced to trauma of being the oddball. Our courts are contaminated with young, inexperienced caseworkers and polluted with bribes, high-priced bonuses for speedy adoption of terminated parents, and judges who don't practice law with the Constitution in their sights. This is a problem. George Washington never thought of children as pawn in the game of freedom and American values, and never had he wanted to sell them. They were from his maker, his creator. Our children are being run down for no other reason than the profits being made in some way. Somehow these government agencies make money hand over fist day in and day out. They have you go to classes that they are billing for. There is no viable reason for you to attend. Yet when you hear an update, CPS tells you that you're further away from when you started. Reunification is your goal, not theirs. And after you go through 12+ months of grueling, painstaking classes and meetings, all while getting the slimmest amount of time to visit your child, and even worst, you are always supervised. Never alone again with your child. It's awful. How do they feel, do you think?
Where's the outrage? Why is nobody standing up for these families being torn apart by CPS?
Please don't tell me you're going to put all your bets on this superhero. You grown-ups are supposed to be coming to his rescue. Stop ignoring this problem. There is nothing more I can say to any of you. Please fight CPS and help those who have lost so much they can help themselves.
Our courts are contained with young, inexperienced caseworkers polluted with bribes, high-priced bonuses for speedy adoption of terminated parents, and judges who practice law with the Constitution in their sights. This is a problem.
They take away the fathers, leaving just a mom and cubs. They know that with that out the way, the better things will go. Breaking apart the family, destroying the American way. Our legacy is built upon our families of yesterday. Fuck CPS, fuck what they doing. Fuck CPS, they need to be ruined. It's all about the division of family services. You hear that the division is what they about. They prey upon the family, the ones that the dad's been kicked out. We can't stand for this abomination. This is the song that needs to play across our once great nation, making us aware of the problem. Stealing our kids, it's not my drama. Stand up for those who are lost to them. We need to fight for the family, making America great again. CPS comes along with the mission to protect. The only thing they are doing is cashing in those checks, paid for by the souls of the children. Diagnosed by a caseworker who is still a baby herself. They take away the fathers, leaving just a mom and cubs. They know that dad out the way, the better things will go. Breaking apart the family, destroying the American way. Our legacy is built upon our families of yesterday. Fuck CPS, fuck what they doing. Fuck CPS, they need to be ruined. It's all about the division of family services. You hear the division, that's what they about. They prey upon the family, the ones that the dad's been kicked out. We can't stand for this abomination. This is a song that needs to play across our one great nation, making us aware of the problem. Stealing our kids, it's not my drama. Stand up for those who are lost to them. We need to fight for the family, making America great again.
That's me in the very beginning. Now I am a baby and getting zoomed from my mom to my birthday. I don't remember a lot about my younger life, but I remember it was fun and I felt so safe. My mom and dad always happy. I guess my mom's sister was mad that my dad was so great, so she called the police and said he hit my mom. We were all reading and they came. I heard my dad yelling, "There's no way." My mom was crying loudly. Some lady took us away. The court said my parents abused and neglected us. They only loved us. The caseworker lied. I never saw my parents again. I'm still hoping one day they come. I am a victim of CPS and so are my parents. We need to find justice in all of this madness for all of us that are being abused. It's not fair. Every kid I know has a mom and dad. I know they miss me. I bet they fight every day for me to come home.
Don't get caught like us. Know your rights. Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken into DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their pics are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Who is it stealing the children, you ask?
From caseworker to the White House, the buck stops at all levels, just not where it is supposed to be. The services your family needs. We, the people, have paid for to assure your reunification. Title 4 says, reunify at all costs. United, we stand means nothing to us when it comes to family values. Children are being ripped away from their families. Parents are reverting to addictive behaviors to cover the pain. The trauma caused by child removal is just being recognized, and the results are atrocious. Termination of parental rights is not healthy for anyone, just profitable for the people enforcing the lie.
It's time Washington listens to the cries, the wails of their mothers, and the rage growing in the fathers. These are our children. Keep your damn hands off them. We are coming to act on behalf of the children God gave us to protect, and you kidnapped.
And it's a very small group that ever cracks that. I think Representative Luna has been looking at the use of classifications to hide things. I'm not sure that even this committee getting security clearances that should allow you to see this stuff would allow you to follow where it really goes.
I worry about the people that are looking at it and don't even know what they're looking at. I mean, it's gone through so many, I mean, since Roswell, for instance. I mean, you think there's nobody even alive that was around any of that stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think they've made much progress from the people that I've talked to. I don't think they've made much progress in learning that technology. Might have made some, but you wonder, you know, the implication is tic-tac. Oh, yeah, that's ours. What flew over Washington, D.C. in '52, is that ours too? When are you going to break that out? You guys authorized tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars on weapon systems that can't do half of what we've seen UFOs do. So when do they break this out? If it's really a classified project, could change the world. I don't think they've made much progress, and I think they've been lying to us and to you and the rest of the world, and they're still doing it.
Yes, sir, I agree with you. How did you manage to obtain the classified Russian UAP documents, and how did you get them back in the United States?
Well, I met this Russian physicist who was in the United States lecturing.
And I want to clarify that. I can't even take a thing of honey home on my airplane when I fly back to Tennessee.
Yeah,
So
I did something pretty dumb.
We need to localize the summer campaign by yesterday. Top performers only. B, that's the one.
Providing us information that otherwise we would never have seen. Some of that was classified. I found out that they only stamped the top pages of these documents that were classified, so I just removed them. I removed those pages and I carried them out. And if they'd caught me, I'd be in a gulag still.
yeah, we'd be saying, what happened to George Knapp? Oh, yeah. What happened to the Russians that came forward to you in 1993, and were there any repercussions for them?
Well, there were. The first thing that happened when I talked about this after getting back and going through the files and things and sifting through it, the Russian physicist who had helped us be introduced all these people wrote back and said there was a huge eruption, that there was the real far Arctic forces that wanted a return of the USSR had really go after these guys. They described them as traitors. Nikolai Kaprenov, the physicist friend of, we would be in prison. If it had happened 10 years earlier, we would have been. Putin was not in power, but none of those people that we talked to on that, again, I went back in 1996 and it was like I had the plague. I spoke to different people, but they were scared. And eventually the story was spun where the Ministry of Defense officials who gave us this information were described as ufologists who said there was nothing really significant to these files. They didn't really find anything a big deal. I can tell you, you'll see those files that I shared with. They did find stuff. There was an incident in October of 1982 over an ICBM base where UFOs popped up, was observed over this base where the missiles are pointed at us, United States. These UFOs perform incredible maneuvers. They split apart, they fuse back together, they'd appear and disappear, and right at the end of this 4-hour period, the launch control codes for the ICBMs lit up. Something entered the correct codes. The missiles were fired up and ready to launch, and they could not shut it down. The Russian officers were panicking. The UFOs they disappeared. The launch control system goes back to normal. Colonel Sokolov and his team came in, took the thing apart, could not figure out what it was. It wasn't a power surge or EMPs or some of the baloney excuses that our country has given for similar events involving our nuclear missiles. They thought it was a message from wherever the UFOs were from. And that's a chilling thing. I mean, we were a couple of seconds away from World War III starting, and the UFOs were responsible for it.
All right, I'm out of time, but real quick, who are the contractors that have this material, the corporations?
Well, one of them is Lockheed. And I'll tell you, I mean, I'm not saying Lockheed's the bad guys. They're doing what they were asked to do. Sure. They have lied about this because that's what they're supposed to do. But Lockheed would be one. There's a list I can give you, Congressman. Some of the big ones, the usual suspects.
Okay, thank you. Yield back, Chair Lady. Sorry for going over.
It's all good.
It's all George Knapp's fault.
I now recognize Ms. Boebert for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chief Wiggins, based on your training and operational experience, could the behavior that you witnessed, a transmedium object vanishing without a sound, be explained by any known technology that we possess or other governments possess?
It cannot. No.
And has any government agency debriefed you or any of your shipmates regarding the EOIR and radar confirmed UAP encounter aboard USS Jackson?
No one has. No, ma'am.
What was that encounter like when you brought that up? If you want to briefly summarize that, when you brought that to their attention and then you were not provided any follow-up, who was told and how did you feel when there was no contact back to you?
As far as the actual incident happening
Yes,
or
sir.
the reporting level?
Yes, Chief.
It was in the event happening, my duties are to report to the tactical action officer on watch while we're standing watch. So tactical action officer was there. I made my report. I've not had any discussion outside of that day. There's been no communication to me or requests from me within side of the military. But speaking of that actual incident itself, once the report was made to the tactical action officer, that's when I made the decision to ask the individual watchstander that was controlling Sapphire to be able to slew into the location. And that's what you see in the video itself, is when the watchstander is slewing in and kind of showing us what we're looking at. But outside of that, that's as far as the reporting went that I know of.
Thank you, Chief. Just for the sake of time, Mr. Nusatelli, has ARO, the Air Force, or the FBI ever followed up with you personally about the Red Square event?
I did have follow-up by ARO, nothing with the Air Force. The ARO office updated me, I think, at least 2 times. They let me know that they were unable to locate any records, that the records had been destroyed by the Air Force. The Air Force is destroying all their police records every 3 years on a schedule. So
You were informed that these documents were destroyed.
Well, I have a Freedom of Information Act from the Air Force that states clearly that they destroy all police records on a 3-year schedule.
Okay. So they were sitting on documentation, destroyed it, refused to question any of the lead investigators, anything leading into this investigation?
Yeah, basically, they destroyed all the police records. So you couldn't even, call the Air Force and ask them if there was a vehicle accident in that time frame. So that's a big problem. We're losing data in real time. So we'll never be able to go back and track.
I think our federal government has a history of destroying records. Thank you very much, Mr. Nusatelli. Dr. Borland, as a geospatial intelligence officer, have you seen classified data indicating UAPs operate in restricted U.S. airspace, and has that information been withheld from Congress?
I have not in U.S. airspace. That is intelligence oversight, so I did not have domestic authorities.
After filing your Inspector General complaint over retaliation inside the Pentagon's UAP office, did you receive any kind of protection or just more retaliation?
Within the IG or Arrow, ma'am?
Either.
Arrow, they went after the staff member and classified everything, shut that down. The IG, to this day, I don't even know if my complaint's active. I know my attorney that represented me was very, very, very concerned. And the best of my understanding, I was determined credible, not urgent.
And do you think that experience would suggest that the internal UAP investigations may be compromised?
Possibly. I mean, it's so hard because this goes back to people doing the job they're told to do, and very few people are going to want to give up their careers, 20, 30-year pension, get rid of their kids' health care, get rid of their house. It's possible, yes.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Borland. Mr. Spielberger, do national security whistleblowers currently have any external appeals processes to challenge retaliation, or are they just stuck relying on the same agencies that they're accusing?
Congresswoman, this is one of the biggest concerns that we at POGO have, basically around the independence of investigations and accountability for retaliation. Basically, yes, national security whistleblowers have to rely on internal administrative processes that go through agency inspector generals. There are some differentiations, but the bottom line is that they are forced to rely on protection from the same agencies and people who they are alleging retaliated against.
Okay, great. Wait, were you even listening? You haven't taken a single note this entire meeting?
I'm actually listening better than I ever have. Let me share my screen. Do you see this? Everything we're saying is being transcribed in real time. Look, word for word. That's exactly what you just said.
Wait, So you're not taking notes because
courage to come forward, and we acknowledge that, and I hope that you see that we are taking that seriously. And so very thankful for what, so very thankful for previous witnesses that have come forward. I see Matthew Brown in the audience. He courageously stepped forward and was as a witness. I encourage everybody to look and seek his testimony. I want to thank the people that came in our first hearing: Ryan Graves, David Grush, David Fravor. And in our second hearing, Admiral Gallaudet, Lou Elizondo, and Mr. Gold, and the many others that have come forward. We hear you, and it's time that we, enough is enough. It's time that we take action. Look, I'm not jumped to the conclusion that I believe that there are, aliens coming from another planet, but I'm open to that. And I think that it's our responsibility, especially when we're seeing that we have a government that is actively blocking information from us. Just last night, I tried to get an amendment onto the National Defense Authorization Act that fit in the germaneness of that bill to have UAP disclosure. And conveniently, it was named non-germane, mostly deemed by staff, not even an elected official. This is the kind of stuff that we repeatedly see. Last year, we were blocked by someone in House administration from being able to receive a full briefing from Arrow. So not an elected official, but someone in staff blocked us. And I've had it. Enough is enough. I want to cue up a video that I've been given. And as before it starts, I'm going to describe. This was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. That you cannot see that drone, and so I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what it does. This is when it zoomed out, so you can still see it traveling. So, Mr. Knapp, have you heard about events like this occurring, and what information might you have?
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally, some of that stuff gets out in the wild, and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
So
flies like that?
Again, I'm not going to speculate what it is, but the question is, why are we being blocked from this information consistently? I want to ask this just question. How in the world, this is the document, I want to enter this in for the record if it hasn't already been entered, Madam Chair. The document that you provided on thread 3, this is a huge file. How in the world did you smuggle this out of Russia?
Carefully.
In your socks?
I don't think I want to be really specific about it, because I might have to go back there and get some more sometime. Although,
okay.
No, that'd be crazy to do that. Well, I took the top pages off that were stamped with a security signature, and I carried them out on my person, but the rest of them I just threw in my suitcase and threw some caviar in there as a distraction as well, and hoped for the best. Otherwise, I'd be a citizen of Siberia right now.
And you had you reported James Lakatsky came to you with government possession of NHI craft and how they ultimately gained entry. Can you testify to the veracity of that claim?
Dr. Lukatsky is an honorable man who served most of his career with the DIA, a very trusted, high-level rocket scientist and intelligence analyst who inspired the OSAP program, as I said earlier. And in full disclosure, I've co-written 2 books with him. He dropped this on myself and our other co-author out of the blue. And it took 14 months for us to get DOPSR approval for him to release 2 sentences on that. He said this craft, we had managed to get inside of it. It had no wings, no rotor, no tail. It had no fuel tanks. They didn't know how it flew or how it was operated. It clearly looked like it was aerodynamic, but he would not go further. He's a by-the-book guy, and until he gets clearance to say more about that, I don't think we're going to hear much more. But it's not ours. It wasn't ours. We didn't make it. We didn't know who made it and how it was built and how it operated. We've got at least one. And I don't know, I think that's enough confirmation that we do have recovered discs and materials.
Lastly, Mr. Borland, in the classified realm, have you been exposed to undeniable confirmation of NHI technology? And then my second question is Base Systems involved in any way with reverse engineering exploitation of non-human intelligence craft?
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a conversation this skip for that. Whether I'm legally even allowed to answer that, and whether you're even allowed to hear it, sir.
Okay. Again, you can sense our frustration. And so I just want to thank you for coming forward. We will continue to fight because, look, this is about making sure that this government belongs to the people and restoring the republic the way it was intended to be. Madam Chair, I also have further witnesses of courageous individuals. It was given to me by Dr. Stephen Greer, including Michael Herrera and his testimony. We have Roderick Castle and his testimony, Randy Anderson, his testimony, Stephen Digna, and others, 3 others, all saying similar things to what the witnesses today have said, and I would like to enter that into the record as well.
No objection.
Thank you.
I now recognize Representative Lee for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we need to make sure that we don't get distracted by sensational stories only of unidentified anomalous phenomena and lose track of what the core of this hearing is about. This is all a perfect example of why whistleblowers are so important and why it's so important that we step up and protect them. With Trump, RFK Jr., EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, and others committed to dismantling government and firing professionals who do dare to speak out against the threats this administration's disastrous policies create, we have to focus on protecting all whistleblowers, not only the ones who are reporting on UAP. I'd like to thank the whistleblowers who have agreed to come before the committee today and speak their truth. This administration's claims to care about waste, fraud, and abuse, and so often it is the whistleblowers who care and who are the tip of the sword fighting against the real waste, fraud, and abuse. One study found that whistleblowers expose fraud at more than twice the rate of third-party auditors. So, Mr. Spielberger, what are some of the best examples of whistleblowers exposing fraud and abuse in the federal government?
Thank you, Congresswoman. Again, whistleblowers have played such a vital role across so many different issues. One prominent example.
Website editors don't want you to know. Part 2. All you do is go to this website, and it lets you know how much your competitors are making.
Veterans of America. At that time, we received tips and whistleblower disclosures from over 800 different individuals talking about the VA subjecting veterans to extensive wait times in order to get the basic standard of care that they deserve. It's certainly prolonged serious illnesses, even contributing to hastened deaths, and we were able to help shed more light on that issue, which I think just emphasizes the importance, even outside of the national security context. We are often still talking about serious issues and even life and death concerns.
And unfortunately, whistleblowing can lead to serious repercussions and retaliation, especially in this vindictive and lawless administration. Mr. Spielberger, means of retaliation have they faced, and what are we seeing today under the Trump administration?
So we've certainly heard about a number of different examples of retaliation. One that I'd like to highlight that Mr. Borland referenced previously is retaliation through abuse of the security clearance process. That can have grave implications not just for a whistleblower, but also their ability to seek legal counsel and defend themselves against retaliation. And when we look at the past several months of this administration, unfortunately, we've seen a really systematic approach toward dismantling the nonpartisan civil service. We've seen the mass firings. We've seen undermining of independent agency watchdogs, mass firings of inspectors general, undermining the Office of Special Counsel, the Merit Systems Protection Board. Again, these entities that are meant to be independent and play a critical role in investigating whistleblower disclosures and ensuring that their rights are protected.
Yeah. Thank you. In 1989, Congress passed the Whistleblower Protection Act and then broadened it again in 2012 to ensure that federal workers could feel free to come forward to their elected officials. And it's a good thing we did, because whistleblowers have played a more important role than ever since Trump has taken office. It was thanks to a whistleblower that we learned that DOJ allegedly put every single American's personal security information at risk by bypassing safeguards and copying all this data to an unsecure server. I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a New York Times article titled, quote, "DOJ put critical Social Security data at risk," whistleblower says.
Good to go.
Thanks. We've had whistleblowers at the National Labor Relations Board reveal that DOJ minions may have shipped case files outside of the agency, possibly to help then co-president Elon Musk continue to exploit his workers. And last week, whistleblowers at the National Institute of Health came forward to say that RFK Jr.'s vaccine misinformation campaign had pervaded even the highest levels of the agency. Typically, whistleblowers have an inspector general they can rely on to investigate their claims and register issues with agency leadership, but President Trump has fired or demoted over 20 inspectors general. If I may ask one more question, Mr. Spielberger, can you explain how eroding the independence and capabilities of inspectors general further endanger these whistleblowers?
Absolutely. So again, whistleblowers already face incredibly great challenges in coming forward under normal circumstances. And when we erode these entities that are expected and required to enforce whistleblower protections, fairly investigate their disclosures, it calls into question the integrity of their investigations and findings, whether they'll take whistleblowers seriously when they come forward, and whether we can trust that they will use their authority to enforce the protections of whistleblowers who do come forward, essentially whether they will continue in their role as an independent watchdog or basically become a lapdog for a current or future president.
Thank you. And I will take no more liberties. I yield back.
Thank you. I now recognize Mr. Crane for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Chairwoman, for holding this hearing. Thank you to the witnesses for appearing. In the effort of transparency here, I got to admit to the witnesses that, growing up, I really never believed in UFOs or any of this stuff. I always thought it was a little kooky and whatnot. But, after hearing, your testimony from honorable service members, watching videos like my colleague, Mr. Burleson, just presented, I got to admit, I've become a believer. Not that I know where these things come from or, what they really are up to, but I'd like to start with asking the witnesses. Mr. Nusatelli, you were in the Air Force, right?
Yes.
Did you believe in UFOs prior to your encounter?
I've always been interested.
Okay. Yes. Chief Wiggins, you're currently in the Navy, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you believe in UFOs before your encounter?
I did. I'm from Las Vegas, and I've watched George Knapp my whole life.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Borland?
I have always been open to where facts go, so.
Were you guys scared or hesitant to come forward and tell your story because of fear and believing that you might be reprimanded or ostracized from society because of your stories? Mr. Nusatelli?
Yes, absolutely. I probably would not have come forward if I didn't have documentation to prove some of my story, and I also wouldn't have come forward without the people that paved the way for us in the first congressional hearing. So,
Chief, What about you?
Once I got the okay from the Navy from top down, that gave me a level of relief. Prior to that, I didn't have any thought left or right of that, but thanked the Navy to give me the go-ahead, and that gave me the relief that I would not have any level of reprisal or anything happen to me.
Mr. Borland, how about you?
Absolutely. I mean, after I went through everything, it was pretty clear that I caused a major issue in the executive branch, so I did what I was supposed to do, and that's why I haven't spoken publicly. That's why I'm happy to be here. This is how I wanted this to be done in regards to me.
Mr. Borland, why do you think that you faced reprimand and discipline for your effort to come forward and be transparent about what you saw?
About what I saw is the reason why I got into what I know and has been disclosed to Arrow and the IG. And I think that information, well, it was labeled an extremely sensitive national security issue.
Thank you. Mr. Knapp, I've watched many of your videos on Joe Rogan and other places. One of the big questions, I think, for many of us is why do you believe that the federal government refuses to be transparent about this issue?
I think there's probably multiple reasons. At the start, when these things first started invading our skies in large numbers, we were scared. It was right after World War II, and we didn't know what they were, and they didn't want to pat the public, and that was probably a good call. Over time, I think the lying sort of became institutionalized, you know. Flights over Washington, D.C. in 1952, they're seen, they're captured on radar, jets are chased after these objects, and then we get an explanation it was a temperature inversion. And those kind of lies have been told for a long time. What was told to me by an investigator from Congress, a guy named Richard D'Amato, who was sent after this story by Robert Byrd and Harry Reid, he came out to Nevada, tried to get into Area 51, did get in there, looked around, talked to people, trying to get to the bottom of it. He believed that this program, reverse engineering, et cetera, was inside, had been moved inside these corporations. And he said, when this comes out, people are going to go to prison. And he meant people who were basically misusing legitimate national security funds, tens of billions of dollars, in order to keep this cover-up going. I also believe there's a legitimate reason for the cover-up in that there is undeniable connection of national security involved in this technology. If we are racing for it to master that technology against the Russians and the Chinese, which is what I have been told by Senator Reid and many others, then it is a race that's critical to our survival.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business. With Wix, you can grab yours now.
Race for this technology.
Thank you. Finally, I'd like to enter into the testimony a letter I sent to the DoD regarding the case of Major David Charles Grush, a UAP whistleblower who's been extremely helpful to this committee. Unfortunately, due to his participation in the disclosure of UAP, he suffered reprisal like the removal of his clearance, denial of promotion, and loss of medical retirement. I wrote the DoD on July 24th, 2025 on behalf of Major Grush, and I'm still waiting for a reply. I appreciate any help the committee can offer to get a response. Thank you. I yield back.
Without objection, we'll be following up with the DoD after this hearing. Thank you, Representative Crane. I'd next like to recognize Representative Gill for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairwoman Luna, for holding this hearing, and I'd like to yield a minute of my time to you.
Perfect. My first question is to Mr. Knapp. Mr. Knapp, how do we know that the files that you obtained from the former Soviet government are not BS and just given to you as a disinformation campaign against the U.S. government?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I shared some of them with the Senate Intelligence Committee when I first got back because that was requested by the Russians who shared some of that information with me. Secondly, I gave all of that material to the DIA through BASS, the OSAP program, sorry for the acronyms.
Can you name names real quick? Sorry.
At BASS or OSAP?
Who did you give them to directly?
I gave them to Robert Bigelow and to Jim Lukatsky. And they hired a whole team to go through them and retranslate them and analyze it, and they created a structure of how the UFO programs in the USSR and Russia were put together. They said they were real. The other person who said they were real is David Grush.
Noted. Thank you. Representative Gill.
Yep. And thank you. I'd like to yield the remainder of my time to Eric Burleson.
Thank you, Representative Gill. Mr. Wiggins, Chief Wiggins, in your view, what mechanisms such as internal protocols, witness debriefings, or cross-agency documentation should be better established in order to ensure that such a credible sighting like the one that you have given are preserved and made available to oversight bodies like this?
Thank you, sir. As a active duty Navy member, our mission is to carry out the ship's mission or the command's mission. And we, on a general basis, don't have knowledge of what to do when we see things like this. We just don't. We're there to do our mission and do what's told of us, right? So I think what would be important is giving active duty members a clear way of being able to report things like this to where it gets to this point. And ensuring that we have a standard level of understanding that there wouldn't be any level of reprisal or anything happening. Because, you know, I've been in the Navy for almost 24 years, but what about the sailors that have been in for 2 years that experience things like this? They're not going to have the knowledge, or they'll probably be a little bit more fearful to speak up, being it that their career is just starting.
Yeah, I want to commend you. You're the first witness to come forward that is currently serving, and it's recognized. And so I thank you. And your testimony is unbelievable. Let me ask this question. Are you familiar with the Witness Protection Act that Representative Burchett has filed?
I'm not too familiar, sir.
Anyone on the committee familiar with it? It's fantastic. It's the language that we need. It's language that will protect from any kind of reprisal, and yet it's again and again blocked by this body in some way. Many a times it's being blocked not by elected officials, but by staff behind the scenes. And the other bill, the UAP Disclosure Act, which was filed last year, Senator Schumer, who I cannot believe that there's a topic that he and I agree on, but he and I agree on this topic. He has sponsored it in the Senate. He put it on the National Defense Authorization Act last year. Remarkably, I can't get it on it was stripped out by the House last year, and I can't get it onto the bill leaving the House this year. Mr. Knapp, how far would that bill go to actually getting the answers that we need?
Pretty far. I think that they're still going to have roadblocks. You know, the keepers of the secrets, the private companies that have been doing this job for intelligence agencies for a long time, are not going to cough it up. You'd have to force it out of them. And whether you can get them to admit that they have it or not, I mean, they're supposed to lie about it. They've been lying about it. You know, more power to you. I hope it works. I hope it passes this time. But it's a daunting challenge to get them to open up after lying about it for more than 75 years.
Yeah. And then finally, Mr. Borland, when you engaged with Arrow in 2023, you noted that their public statements did not match the reality that you and others had witnessed. In your assessment, what were the key limitations of Arrow?
You know, I would put it to you this way. The statement Arrow has made is scientific evidence of extraterrestrials. Scientific evidence requires a scientific control. Extraterrestrial is an entity on another planet. The only way to scientifically prove extraterrestrial is we have to go to that planet, acquire technology, bring it back, and compare it to what we have here.
So you're saying they won't let anything out because, or they won't come forward unless they confirm that unless they go to the planet and confirm where its origin is?
Would be scientific evidence, yes. And by Arrow found no scientific evidence of extraterrestrials is basically, I don't want to call it a station because we do have things, but making that statement is not technically a lie. It's a misrepresentation of the full truth.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I just how do we to these other planets? How do we pass the Van Allen radiation belt safely?
Good question for you. I cannot answer that for you.
I would now like to recognize Mr. Perry for 5 minutes.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I think I'll start with maybe Mr. Borland. So you have a clearance, right? You're in uniform, you have a clearance. When did you leave service? What year?
2013, February
2013. Who was the president, if you recall?
2013 would have been President Obama, sir.
Wasn't President Trump, right?
No, sir.
Okay, so you have a clearance, right? You're serving in uniform, you have a clearance.
Yes,
Your
sir.
story, I think many of us are kind of picturing the scene. You walk out in the flight line, having a smoke, this event occurs. Do you have the perception, at least I do, based on your story, that this involves the U.S. government? Whatever you saw involves the U.S. government.
That is 100% my opinion then and now.
And was there an after action? Do you do a daily debrief of the activities of the day? Was any of that recorded? Was there a conversation with the command? Was there any documentation that you know of at the time?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, like I said, I talked about it on the ops floor, and a couple of people had pulled me aside, some older enlisted, and were like, you probably want to keep that to yourself.
So did you get the impression that they knew what you were talking about, just didn't want you to harm your career or seem crazy, or that they didn't really witness? Do you know anybody else?
Complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want and watch it take shape.
Being around it, like, what is this, an accident? Like, does the U.S. government make these kind of accidents? They make accidents, mistakes like this? Like, we're doing this test of this new system, and we forgot these guys were standing here. Does that sound like something that the U.S. government would do?
No, sir. Some of the launches we were doing were like $5 billion projects that had taken like 10 years to develop the technology. And these objects were coming right up to the launch pad. Any kind of mistake, I mean, it could cause a catastrophe.
Right.
So it's very confusing why these objects would be operating in and around our bases or during training exercises.
So it would lend you to believe that the U.S. government had nothing to do with whatever it is you saw.
Correct.
They wouldn't want it there because it would potentially interrupt the proceedings at the time. Was there an after action? Was there a discussion by your command was there an investigation? It's a pretty significant activities
Children are
that you were involved with. Was there an
offspring
investigation?
a reward from him.
We conducted investigations in
Just children are a precious gift from
document all
God
the
to be
evidence.
valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is take DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their picks are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Ooh, boy. All right. I mean, another way to say this, but Mr. Justin Nicely, Mr. James Markland, come on out here and join me. Stand the fuck up.
Stand up. Love it.
What'd you think of that one?
Oh, man, you want to talk about lighting fires asses? There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that was cool. My dude back.
Oh, we're gonna go blue.
Yeah, you're breaking up on us again, Jay, brother.
Man, I love that. You guys posted
Justin.
Justin's in here?
Oh, you got Justin?
Did he come in? Well, Justin, what's been going on, my man?
Brother, we have been blowing up Canton all across, man. We have lit that spark that's going to hopefully set fire across the entire nation for everybody else to jump on board and join the exact same movement. And again, it's not another law. It's not another piece of legislation. It's not a group. It's none of that. It's a movement. It's an idea, and you're not going to be able to kill it. It's hashtag stand up, and we're spreading it all across the state, all across the country.
Hashtag stand
We
up.
all know, yep, Ohio has been deemed the #1 trafficking hub in the nation. And with that being said, this Papa Bear right here cannot stand idle and let that be. With that being said, we have to lead by example here in the state of Ohio. We have to set the ball. Exactly what we've been doing. We've been bringing out the Parents' Bible and version of the United States Supreme Court rulings, Ohio codes and statutes that have been put into play that people have full access to, that they don't have to pay a single penny for. It's a matter of you pay it forward. The information that we give you in the Parents' Bible right there with this QR code that everybody sees on the screen right now, we encourage you to share that with the masses all throughout the state. And the goal and idea is we're going to get this shepherdized as well for all other 49 states throughout the entire country. But in that right there, is something everyone right now currently can use in order to be able to get proactive, to figure out and know how to fight back. And that is the whole goal, is to not make the same bullcrap mistakes and perpetuate the cycle that we've been living for God knows how long. How many decades do we got to keep sitting there repetitively doing the same damn things over and over and over again that does not work?
It's like it goes in an election cycle, right? So every 2 years you get a new group of people that think that they're going to reinvent the wheel, but we that have been here for a while know that you can't do this again. Like you see the resurfacing of the not QR code, but the SESTA-Q trust. These people are trying to do this again. Like we did that 4 years ago. I mean, like stop trying to bring this stuff back there. What about the bonds and the this and that and all that stuff? Sure, man, there is some sort of something to it, but is that really, you know what I mean? Like, come on, we don't need to waste our time on that because you know why? We know it doesn't work. It's either not working because they haven't.
We've got 460,000 missing children currently right now. All the shit that's been going on the past 4 decades, I ask everybody this one simple question. Has it gotten better or has it gotten worse? And where the hell are all these babies at? Have it been brought home?
That's not a trajectory of numbers that have gone through time. That's a year. A year. So they keep moving and moving and moving. And, like, I don't know. I've come up, I don't know what this year's numbers are. I haven't done the reunification number for real. But when we did it for 2023, I believe, it was 12% was the reunification rate. Of course, they walk around, they tout that it's 50% in this. But it's real simple. You just take their math and divide by this number, and you'll get the real number. So the reunification rate was really low. I don't know what it is now, but where, like you say, where do these kids go? Where do they end up? What's happening to them? I mean, we just saw a video on the Tiff and The Punisher show the other day that showed that there was 900 kids in a DHS office that they were selling their organs. Did you guys see that video?
The problem is that nobody wants to believe it. The truth is right there in front of them.
They're losing them. They moved my kids out of a foster family, out
of a foster home in a county into another county where they ended up getting abused, and the county moved them out of. They have like what they call a NIAP center and a journey home, the foster agency that handles them children. The CPS agency here to notify that agency that my children had been moved.
Great case plan management. And again, perpetuating the cycles is what we're going to be ending. And that's the whole goal and mission and prerogative and idea. And that's why we created #StandUp. And
Yeah,
if
that's right
anything,
there on the bottom of
everybody
the
can
screen,
do it.
guys.
Yep. Stand up.
Darren, there's
and
no
the reason why
no
we
space
need to.
stand up, buddy.
Okay, no space. All right, let me take that out of there.
Yeah,
I don't want to be
it's
getting
just
false
hashtag-
information here.
One more.
Yep. One word, stand up, all capital letters, because that's how important it is, and everybody needs to learn how to do it. And if we don't do it right here, right now, then everybody might as well throw in the towel, get your bunkers made, and get ready for war, because currently, right now, that's what we're in. And the only way this changes, we have to get on the offensive. And that's what the Parents' Bible is for. It is to trump up on their bullshit game. We know their playbook. It's not a question of trying to come out with the evidence anymore. We don't need to do that anymore. We don't need to come out with testimonials anymore. We already know that what the hell they've done to everybody, countless people, millions all across the country, and what they're doing to these kids and the cause and effect of it. And generationally, how it has become an epidemic across the board on almost everything that we're facing across, as far as in epidemic proportions. Housing, job security, mental health, incarceration rates, drug use, you know.
We don't need any more. My caseworker lied. They're corrupt. They stole my this. I've got, you know what I mean? Like we know. We're aware. And it's not that
at this point, it's a no shit.
Right.
No
It's not
shit.
anybody, no one's not sympathetic towards it. It's just like, we got this. This, you know, like we know. This is very well documented. We've got all this stuff. So let's
So the
focus
question
on,
is now that we're bringing to the table, that we're asking everybody, and this is what we're doing. We're hitting it front line. When we say that we're 10 toes deep on this thing and we are not backing down, we're going to be those bastards that ask the right questions, the logical questions, the uncomfortable ones that a lot of people don't want to answer, calling out a lot of shit that we're seeing all throughout the nation, that we're ending it. And that question is now, what are y'all going to fucking do about it? We know that they're kidnapping these kids with no legal recourse. We know that these courts and the family courts and Title D are completely fucking irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. No judicial authority to be monitoring and of us and our children and our families. We know as a coalition, HS, child support, the family courts, the judges, the magistrates, the guardian ad litems, and these fucking law enforcement officers that love to enforce policy rather than our actual constitutional rights and freedoms. We know that they're kidnapping and trafficking these children and shoving them into homes and saying, you know, quantity over the quality, and, you know, trying to get that year in per capita and those bonus checks that they're receiving and putting them into private LCs. We know that they're, you know, kidnapping, trafficking, abusing, raping, murdering babies, and even going as far as out eating and harvesting them. Yes, people, this is all the truth. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. We don't need to spend another ounce of fucking energy trying to sit there and show this and teach this to the masses. What we need to sit there and start doing is, again, getting on fast and stand up and doing something about it. That's why I stand up, not the societal not approval. That's why we're doing much thinking, doing the right thing, as far as not repeatedly being on what we're telling everybody, that burning carousel. We're here to kick our asses off of that thing, WCW style. Doing something right.
Right. The more itch.
Out of our comfort zones. It's time to stop repeatedly doing the same stupid shit. How many times did I protest, and how many days did it bring home? Darren, did you have a counter? I didn't get any. I didn't see none of that shit. Yeah. How many kids got brought got home on these bullshit congressional hearings that certain advocates went about doing hosting over in Washington, D.C., you know, and they got their little cash apps and their, you know, Zells and their GoFundMes and shit for themselves. And how many babies are coming home with these congressional hearings that are bullshit?
How many parents spent their life savings to go to Washington D.C. with some of these fake advocates, these favvocates?
Yeah, these snaps.
Right. Yeah. Yep. The ones that
Snap.
blind leading the blinder. It's blind leading the hopeless, and that's wrong, man. That is so wrong that they're doing that. They're all doing this for their own intentions, for their own glamour, their own front row. There are all of these advocates out there that are not in this for their heart and for. Now listen, here's what I will say this. I don't care if someone charges somebody something for what they're doing with them, as long as they're doing the work and you're aware of that when you got into it. But when you're paying somebody to give you information that's free and that should be handed out to people anyway, or you're not spending time on anything, it's just this bullshit, pay to get this or whatever, that's wrong, man. That is completely wrong.
Pay my bills so I can go out here and keep spreading more misinformation that is causing a massive cause and effect all across the country. Like bullshit notices of service, and they know who I'm talking about. And if they feel offended, and anyone out there that feels offended by what I'm saying, call me a liar.
Yeah, here we go. How about this? We'll do something even better than that. For anybody out there that's listening to what we're saying, and you want to come in on the contrary and say that, call any of us out, one of us three out, that we're liars about any of this stuff that we're talking about. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put here's the link right here.
Open debate for anybody, anytime, any day, to sit there and answer very valid and legitimate questions. That I personally, as a state advocate here in the state of Ohio, I've dealt with every one of them, people. I've dealt with every single one of them that you all see on your TikToks and your live streams and your Facebooks all across the country, doing all of these things and all these videos. You see them fighting the good fight.
Hey, I got to put this up real quick. This is just a quick thing, guys. I'm seeing a lot of this, but check this out. I got to play this.
This is not a test. This is the emergency broadcast system. Please stay tuned for the following message and instructions. This is not a test.
DeKalb County Police are asking for to find a man who disappeared earlier this week. Albert Wall, who also answers to the name Alex, was last seen on Tuesday afternoon walking away from South Stone Mountain Road. He was last spotted on a surveillance camera on Wellborn Road. Wall has autism and extremely limited verbal skills. Since then, police have been searching for him using the police helicopter, canvassing the neighborhood, and more. He was last seen wearing a light t-shirt, black shorts, and was carrying a black backpack. He is 5'7" and approximately 140 pounds. He walks with a strength to his right foot and shuffle in place while anyone who's call 911 with the DeKalb County Police Special Victims Unit at 770-724-770.
So that's Alex. That's our girl Danielle that does the shows here. That's her son. This isn't 2 weeks anymore, guys. This has been over. It's a month. I think it's a month, if not a little over a month. I'm just trying to get him out of here. He's been for that, and I see a lot of you guys are out there. Pray for Alex. So I just wanted to put that up there. So if you guys get this and you can share that, that would be great.
And that was out of Georgia.
Yeah. There's another one. He's missing. No, listen, no, nobody's looking for him. Nobody, no missing persons report. No, nothing, dude. Nothing until we started airing this stuff and we started getting some ground for it. But they weren't doing a damn thing for that boy. The first couple of weeks.
Let's go ahead and get in touch with some gladiators out there in the Georgia area to get it on the wire and start spreading that like wildfire. And that's how, again, right there, that's how we make a difference. Since we can't depend on, We can't depend on, the media anymore. We all know this. Corporate media going to sit there and report the news as far as the things that are relative to those that are being affected out here, the we the people. They're on propaganda. They're on bullshit ass agendas. Yeah, and this is the things that we're talking about is how the derelict of duty all across the place has shown us time and time again, repeatedly. Why the hell are we going to these people? Why are we going to our state representatives, our Congress, and our Senate, asking them to sit there and put in legislation that they're just going to fucking ignore later on down the road? Why do we keep going to a law enforcement that's not willing to sit there and actually follow the law? They don't follow the law. They follow fucking policies. Why are we going out here, and protesting and screaming on the side, of roadsides and waving signs and screaming and yelling, trying to bring awareness to something that everybody's already aware? It's just that nobody wants to do a damn thing about it. It's time to grow some balls, everybody. It's time. It's time to be pissed off. It's time to get off our ass and get enraged.
It has been time to be pissed off for quite some time, dude.
Quite some time.
Here's the thing. Look at this. Mr. Harley's in the house with us. I don't know where James just went to. But, it's like this, man. This is only true Amber Alert that you would even get. The Amber Alert is weaponized by them as well. Like this is what goes on with it. The only way you're getting an Amber Alert on a child is if you go and steal them back from CPS yourself and it's your kid. That's the only way you're getting an Amber Alert on a kid. That's it. Well, they're not giving anybody an Amber Alert if they just got their kid kidnapped or whatever. They're just they're just getting an Amber Alert if you went and tried to get your own kid back from CPS. That's it.
Well, we got a lot of things cracking off, brother. What's up, Justin?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out.
Sorry, Justin. We got Jay in the house as well. This is your Ohio crew, a part of it, and there's many other constituents going on all out there. The heart of the nation. Everybody knows that. Again, fairly recently, we have been deemed the #1 trafficking hub in the country. So basically, that makes us the #1 trafficking hub in the entire world. And with that being said, it's time for us to raise the bar all across the nation and light that spark that sets fire to it. And we got to lead by example. So we're putting together massive movements. And again, ideas of a mass empowerment. We're waiving these people their qualified immunity right there at the door with notices of services to be able to put on hand. That's why this QR code is very important. And we're not asking you guys for money. We're asking you all for action, people. There's a big difference. We're not asking for a single penny. Sorry about that. The universal message we're going to be getting out tonight, that we want to get out tonight, is all those out here claiming to be in this fight. All those that you see, like we were talking about, those that are out here that you see on the Facebook lives, and you see them serving all these people. Oh, they're doing all of this. Oh, we're collecting affidavits. Oh, we got testimony. Well, what the fuck are you going to do with it? Especially when you don't have a foundation base of success your damn self with your own personal case to offer anyone.
Testimony. Where did everybody's 5-minute testimonials and all their timelines that they together go? When we were asking for that a year ago, when everybody together, put your timeline together, you know what I'm saying? What happened? What did everybody just use them as toilet paper? I mean, what are we doing here?
Oh, I love the advocates too.
Statistical data.
Yeah. Oh no, that's what they're saying. You know what I mean? That's great. Statistical data for what? The playbook we already fucking know like the back of our hands. Now, what are we gonna do about it? Especially when they're stonewalling the information that's being collected. Oh, they're stonewalling the information being collected here.
Yeah, where's the machine? Where are they dumping all that stuff into?
Exactly. Everybody can sit there and go on to, a Daphne algorithm.
Out there right now, we've seen zero record of what they've done by taking everybody's paperwork. If anything, how do you know that they're not DHS workers that are sitting there making you rat on yourself? How do you?
And how many times have we seen it that these people will get butt hurt when they're getting called out on the bullshit and being asked legitimate questions, that they not use that very testimony, that is the very paperwork, your very case against you, and try to flip the narrative just like the system does? And how many times have you reached out for help from these people that you see all across the country claiming to be fighting? You know, they're claiming to be frontline gladiators and all this shit. You know, they put themselves in that position, y'all. I mean, they got a following, almost 80, 90, 100,000 fucking people. Hey, yeah, I'm doing this big movement. But yet, you ain't even got a success in your own case. So what are you going to lead people to do? Sell themselves? And then for the low, low price of, you know, $9.99, we'll give you all the information of all these corrupt-ass people, you know, or $99 a year. Does that sound familiar? The pay-to-play scheme. Here's a link. Here, you know. Here's my Cash App. Here's my Zelle. Here's my Venmo, and I'll help you that way. Oh, and by the way, I don't have any, you know, personal success myself to sit there and offer you, but here, I'll be able to help you.
Yeah. Hey, what do you got going on? You said you got something going on this month, right? You got
Oh,
something
yes,
big going
sir.
on.
May 25th, we are doing a statewide call out. Yes, sir. It's at 1289 Edison Street, and that's in Northeast, Hartville, Ohio. May 25th, Memorial Day, Monday. We will be out there, Northeast corner. Look for the flags. It is an all-state call-out. We have several constituents from all across the state showing up. We got Justin Harley right here with the Ohio Justice Wall of Shame. And speaking about the aspects of the parental alienation that's been going on and ways to be able to beat that. We got Jay right here, another success story, who's been massive as far as being able to make this, everything that we've been doing, more easily digitally digestible for others to be able to get a hold of and spread the information easier. And also to be able to talk about what his personal experience and the best way to be going is pro se. We have Cynthia Brown showing up out there to speak on behalf of the constituents of the Ohio Coalition for Ending Qualified Immunity, which is a huge domino that needs to fall